How is Annette this morning?
Annette's doing okay. A little slower going. Stayed up longer watching movies and still had to get up the same time in the morning, so it's a little slower.
Mhm.
But it's pouring rain outside, so Annette can't go out and do what she was supposed to be doing this morning outside.
Mhm.
What? It's raining in Ontario
Yeah,
in
Greg, it,
December?
it was
That's
10
freaky.
degrees. It was 10 Celsius yesterday here.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah,
A little unusual.
a lot of rain though. If it was snow, we'd be buried.
Yep.
We've been examining engage. That's a word that Hines, thank you, Hines. And compassion versus coward.
Mm, okay. I guess how do we define both?
Yeah, and I brought it into as originally it was compassion jabs. That's like my words, my phrase, because what I notice is that I'm really easy with the anger jabs. And, you know, that fighting is not what a coward does. So if there's no anger jabs, what is it? Yeah, my point
So,
is that I'm still doing anger jabs. I'm working to replace with compassion jabs, and just to
how about
wonder or look at the observation of the
mhm.
how that could be seen as not worth fighting for. So thanks, Annette. Go ahead.
Yeah, so for me, because I was accused of basically that anger jabs, for me, it was frustration because I didn't have the sometimes the right words or the right tone to go along with the words. And it was a lot of pain. So maybe they're not anger jabs, they're just painful jabs.
Mm-hmm.
But to the receiver, the tone is the same as if they believe it was anger.
Hmm.
I don't know, clarify. I know when mine are anger jabs, and that's what I was speaking to.
Okay.
But I do accept the other side that I wasn't referencing them as them coming at them. This morning, I'm focusing on mine going out. But thank you. I can see where I could be better served to think of them as frustration jabs versus revenge. But that's what I play is how do I get back? How do I respond to it? And that's just my automatic pattern.
Hmm.
Better yet, behavior, I think is the clinically approved term.
So if it's believed to be revenge, one has to identify what the revenge is for.
You know, it's in response to an attack that was to me. And sorry, let's go another way with that. For the pain I'm in.
Hmm.
For the
I'm
hurt I feel. So that's a better place to say that's where the anger jabs from me come from.
I know
My
the
pain.
your pain.
the attack was on the present you was, but was he attacking the present you or the past you?
Oh, there's only one me, and it's the past in that context.
Then you should stop identifying with the past and just let go.
Hmm.
It has nothing to do with your present. Once
So
upon a
here,
time, it's a past adventure.
Thank you,
so
Heinz.
so if you were doing the jab, I guess the question is, what outcome were you hoping for? What outcome did you get?
I think that behavior is there to feel better about it, to deflect it, to send it back so that the other person feels it as well. And there's a moment of relief from it. Um,
So instead of handing out a brick, you threw a brick.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And here what I noticed was in my self-talk, revengeful playing out. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get here. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna make this move. I'm gonna say that, and all of that. Without when it was none of compassion. And so, yes, is my normal place. Whenever I can, is to throw bricks. Yes. Now, is it not this time? Am I for the first time and intentionally not trying to do it? Yes. Is that working? No. And
But you're human, Jesse.
yeah, I'm not beating myself up on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Like that great question we ask children. If they jump off a bridge, will you follow them? It's your choice. If you identify with the person she's referring to, then you stick in the past with them. And then it becomes suffering from the pain she's creating instead of like, and it's just sitting with the pain. But it's hard to do because the ego will always say, hey, they've hurt me. What are you going to do about it?
Mhm. And so it's looking at the compassion, like whether it's for an example, someone was helping and made bagels for breakfast, handed her one, and I could just feel like there was an angry sigh about it. Like, I'll get my own. Fine. I didn't give it to her. I put it on another plate. So that's in a way of wondering, like, look at that. I just observe that as okay. I hear it. And just wonder, just play with it, and as one simple example. And then I look at the compassion, like as I play or work the compassion side, compassion jabs, like to replace the frustration or angry or hurt jabs that I throw, is rather throw compassion jabs. Because as I opened up, it's like I'm carrying my compassion stick going around beating people with it. Is what it sometimes feels like. Meaning, in my head, I can make up some really angry, nasty things rather than being compassionate things. And those do translate between the two. Meaning from in my head to actions that are taken.
Was that what you're doing with your awareness?
Yeah, well, what? No, not with my awareness, because with my awareness, I caught it, right? I could see it, but it's like, why is it always playing that? Oh, yes. And then adjust it, right? So in the moment, oh, what do I want, right? Focus there, but then it's like even just in that emotion of it, right? In the moment of it, right? It very soon am I drifting back over into that same anger loop or frustration loop or fighting loop, right? And I guess that's a better way, fight, because I always will fight. I don't know. And so I'm
So I have a question about when you said you will always fight. What are you fighting for?
family,
If
new patterns, a new marriage, and the truth, my truth. And that's what I'm fighting for.
so, fighting in a positive way as opposed to defensive.
Yeah. And,
Like seeking, discovering.
yeah, I don't like the word fighting, but like, yeah, fighting
Striving.
is holding on to it, and creating is space for something new. So
So
uh,
how does the word striving come into that? I'm trying to figure out how the word striving fits into all that.
between creating and fighting for me.
Mm-hmm.
You could say intention. Good morning, Syndrome.
Well,
Good morning, beautiful souls.
Hi,
Good
Syndrome.
morning, Syndrome.
Good morning.
Well, Jesse, the things that you're fighting for are very focused.
Very much so.
Sounds
The
to me
rest of
like
it,
all
the
that's
rest of
coming
it,
from your head, though. Just the language is adversarial.
mhm. It's the pattern, right?
Yeah. So the
It's the
question is, can you drop into your heart when you're at the choice point?
yeah,
Instead of
it's the
engineering
difference
a
between,
response with your head.
yeah, exactly. I was just going to ask if there's a difference between whether the compassion comes from the mind or from the heart.
I don't know that our minds are capable of compassion.
Yeah, exactly. Because it takes wisdom.
They aren't, but they set the direction. They set the intention.
Maybe that's the issue.
No, the old patterns are the issue.
Well, but it's what part of you is setting the attention, the intention.
The way it should be. The way it should be is what is setting the intention.
Then that's the issue right there.
Mhm.
A preconceived outcome or expectation. It's
That
already
aren't
defined.
mine. Yeah, that aren't mine.
Yeah.
That can be, which are old behaviors, old thoughts, the way it should be, that can be replaced with what could be. And in vulnerability and compassion, we find that. Even stepping into a fight.
Wanting things to happen in a certain way is a protection mechanism.
And wanting them to go a certain way. And then engineering that is what I do. Strategize it, yeah.
But isn't compassion an obligation to serve others? To free them from their pain. And
What's the difference between compassion and coward then? From an observer's perspective. An angry, frustrated observer.
There are times that people actually want to pick a fight with you too, though.
That is a pattern. There is a pattern there.
Yeah, and you don't fight back. You feel like a coward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or when you respond with compassion, you feel like a coward.
And I'd be accused of it.
Yeah. Whoa.
My mind says, gets that feeling, I'm a coward. I tell my mind, well, that's one way to look at it.
Yeah, I see my old patterns as the coward aspect of it, but that's new for me. And I think there's an aspect that is looking for that pattern, that behavior, that begging, coming back, pleading, coward.
Now, did they assign you the label of coward, or did you tell yourself?
They assigned it.
Okay, so that's coming from them.
Mm-hmm.
They could have
I'm
said
looking at
idiot, numbskull. They could have said anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they chose that instead because they wanted to inflict something.
Mhm.
And if
Which means they're seeing it in places, yeah.
Mhm.
And I don't think they're seeing it where I see it.
But from all the stuff that I've read and understand, people project themselves as well in what they say and how they behave. So maybe the coward isn't really you.
I
Maybe
would
it's the
say
person who delivered the message because they don't know how. And if it's a fight they're looking for, there are other ways to respond than to fight back with the same type of, I'm going to use the word viciousness, because usually that's what fights tend to end up being.
Mhm. Mhm.
And so that's how they want to communicate in that form. So we do have options to request that quote unquote fight is paused for 30 minutes or a time frame, and then come back and talk about it in a different intensity. That's one way. Another way would be to engage, but with a very different tone so that the viciousness is not dished back, which would only make them more vicious because it's as if you don't hear me. I'm going to get louder. This is quite the pickle to be in.
I would say you're brave, yes. Brave not to engage in the negative talk. Just take the course and just let it play out in your head, but don't let it get out of your mouth. That takes bravery. That's not cowardness. Knowing right from wrong is not being coward.
Here's I say my old pattern to make up was coward. And I can see there's an aspect of the other that wants that pattern. But I'm not giving it because I want new patterns.
That's probably frightening the other party. What do we do when we are scared? We attack.
I really like what you said there. You're resisting basically because you want new patterns.
Yep.
And the other person doesn't want you to change because that would mean that they would have to see you in a different light and change
Uh,
their opinions, their vision of you.
and they do want me to change, but they don't want to. It's this duality never wins. There's no win in it. You're here's the stance. Past behaviors determine future behaviors. That's what the education has instilled.
See, if you act out your old behavior, then that proves their point.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just goading you like crazy in order to get you to.
Damned
Prove
if I
it.
do, damned if I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Which is exactly what happens. Changing
Well,
patterns.
yes. So, in your situation, in any situation, if you want to show up differently, you have to start now and stay the course, stay focused, because you're doing this for you. In the end, you're doing this for you. You're showing up in life in the way that you choose to show up.
Hasn't always been that way, so an old pattern is not that. But yes, it's to find that. Yes. And that's not a switch that's not a light switch that just shows up one day from one to the other.
Goodness, no. It is a very long, slow road, but it is so worth it in the end.
I believe that. But patterns are so much easier. But yes. And the pattern for everyone else, right? No, not going to play that one. I know where that takes me. That's not where I want to be.
Because those patterns often are rooted at pleasing, people pleasing. Not all of them, but some of them are. You know, when you think about it, if a person tries to change a habit or a behavior or a pattern and is working really hard, and society doesn't like the change, and they do things to get you to change. And as Craig says, so that when you slip up, they can say, see? And sometimes you slip up because you just give in to the old pattern of people pleasing. You're pleasing them that you slipped up into a behavior or pattern or whatever that you used to do. And now they're happy.
Yeah, now they're happy and you're down on yourself because you didn't perform properly or whatever.
You didn't honor yourself.
There you go.
know, that can be seen as a lie.
Yeah, but seen by who? Them again?
Yep.
Because they have you in a box.
Yep.
You're a piece to their puzzle of life.
Control, a piece of their control.
Yeah. And if you change, the puzzle piece doesn't fit in the way that they want it to. So that means they have to change something of themselves. So they fight to get
Yep.
you to form back in.
Scares them, they have to change too.
Mm.
So they'll keep up their old pattern.
Yes, they will. That is what we do. We want something different, but we won't want it. We don't want to change. And we're always changing. That's the always. It's always changing. I mean, this is the trap of always looking backwards. The trap of how it should be. Not what it could be.
They're focusing so much on the past and the future that they forget to see the present. Expectations.
Hmm. No, I can always speak into it, which is all we can do anyway. Hmm. Kind of funny because I think we in our meaning the relationship I'm speaking to, we see coward from two different points of view, meaning two different actions. It might be time to set it straight. Better yet, see, there's the fight aspect of that already, right? Set it straight, like mine's the right way. Better yet, this is how it is for me. This is my experience of it.
I like how you caught yourself there. That's self-awareness.
It's all, man, is it plain in there? Yep.
So let's turn this sideways and ask the question, why are we so resistant to change?
Change is
Well,
often new and unknown.
yeah. I would say survival is probably the deepest instinct for it. Or it's been conditioned as a marketing tool. And it doesn't have to be an or, I suppose it could be an and. But we do know it's part of the nervous system, which is what all we're speaking about is part of. And if the past behavior is a prediction of future behaviors, then we survived the past. So why does anything need to change? And we might be afraid of who we change to. And then to the core of that, will I still belong? If I'm someone else, will they still love me? As I drill in closer and closer to my experience of it. Because some people do live their lives by the rules. And even if it's their rules. And some people can't stand rules. Some people love to live in the box, and people like me don't. Especially somebody else's box.
Yeah.
Tell me what to do.
Yeah. Maybe it's because we're already barely coping with the life that we're living already.
Right? Well, there's no idea that it could be better. That's not even an option when you're looking backwards.
But you know, a lot of people have a difficulty looking forward.
and being in the present moment.
Yeah, because there's an assumption that it's just going to be more of the same.
That's the key. That's it. Well, better yet, here, I mean, that doesn't sound as good as it was good at this time, so I want to recreate that. Only it can't get any better than that. It can only get to that point. And so that's what we hang on to. That's striving for that.
Yeah. Which brings
you
us
think-
right back to the original question.
Mhm.
So
Which
why are we
you
so
sh-
resistant to change, right?
Mhm, mhm. And if you think about it, it's usually the big moments that we remember.
Yeah.
What was the happiest moment of your marriage? Oh, the wedding. That was the first day. It had been downhill since then,
Yeah. Ouch.
right? When my child was born. No, it's been downhill since then, huh? Hmm.
If I only knew then what I know now.
Which is which is change. I mean, that's acknowledging change.
Exactly.
We are just funny beings, funny creatures. I tell you I want one thing, but I really want the other thing. I tell you not to do that, and then I'm mad at you for doing it. Which one is it? Tell me the truth, but I'm going to be mad at you for the truth. What the fuck? I want you to talk to me, but you don't get to tell me how you feel about it. I'm going to tell you how you feel about it. Huh.
How about that one?
Mhm.
Or how you should feel, how you should be feeling.
Oh, no. Yeah, or I'm going to fill in your experience for you because this is how it is for me, and that must be how it is for you. You can't be validated to have any other experience than that. You don't get to have any other experience than that. Man, just sounds like a nice box that I just ready to climb into. See, there's my angry jab again.
Yep.
It's all just information. When I can remember that, yeah, it's a whole lot better. Well, thanks for Jess's therapy session this morning.
Hmm.
So engage compassionately. So that the wobble is, if that's the intention, the wobbles are when we're not in that. And that is becoming the aware of it so that we can modify, improve, and change. Chi, as you said, just in the moment of action is how that changes the fastest. Because this nervous system happens so quickly.
Right.
Oh, and then throw another person in that too. Oof, now you got two nervous systems that are reacting so quickly, feeding off of each
Yeah.
other, energizing each other, bouncing around with each other, and most of the time good together. Sometimes it's not. And sometimes it really is. Most of the time it really is. That's worth fighting for, Annette. Again, big pattern. It's for them, not for me. Hmm. It's a tough question when you haven't answered it or looked for it since the age of 2, 3, maybe 4.
Because at that time it was a survival mechanism.
Mhm. Yeah. Great. And it's like, what are you avoiding? That's the survival mechanism. What are you avoiding? So we do build our patterns, our behaviors all around what to avoid. And we all enter that avoiding differently.
Yeah, it's just another resistance.
Without a doubt. A choice. It's also a choice. We just forget that it's a choice, or it's so fast in our automatic nervous system. Coping. It's just a coping. So fascinating. So fascinating.
Yeah, and that's all unconscious until it's not.
Mhm. So an old pattern would have been, I'm kicking you out of the house. The coward would say, okay. That was an old pattern. New pattern says, no, I'm fighting for the family. You don't punish the kids when you're mad at me. The coward would have left, begged and pleaded to come back. Made all the promises, said whatever needed to be said to get back to good.
And if
Those
you
two
left the
patterns,
house,
those two patterns I have resisted.
even if you left the house, you would be calling and ask, when do you get home?
That to me is the coward pattern.
But one has to watch that the other person doesn't get drunk on their power.
You're not the first person to say that.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because look, if they can say get out of the house to a house that you own equally, and you go, who has the power? And where does it end? They become drunk on it. And they don't realize it. It becomes an addiction too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the thing is, like you said, why punish the kids? If one were to reverse the roles, would she tell the kid to get out of the house?
Yeah.
And the kid would have to beg to come back?
We all
No.
know the truth to
No,
that.
no, I know.
Yeah, we know who comes first and second in my house. And I could
So is
even
it
say
your,
third.
I was gonna say, is it your house or our house?
Maybe
No, not you and me. You mean, I mean for you to say, is it my house or is it our house?
well, legally it is our house. Legally it is still our family. Yeah. And there's enough of it to say that there's a separation. Well, sorry. There's many times that it's thrown out that it's mine and I don't say it.
Now, when the reference is made that the house is mine, is it being spoken to you or to somebody else?
Thanks, and it's been both. It's been both. Recently, since, but I hear it. I let it be. It's just information. It's just, sorry. And as I said it, information, the word that came to me was it's just ammo.
Bingo. Bingo.
Without a doubt. I hope. So bingo, what do you get with bingo?
You made the realization that it's both and it's used as ammo. You use it as a tool to manipulate.
That's exactly what's been happening. That Christmas was that way. Oh, the gifts are just from mom. The vacation, just without dad.
Mm,
But that's not punishment. That's consequences.
it's a little bit of both.
So at some point, the question is, when will the punishment end? When will enough
Mm.
consequences have been served? And
Yep.
will that make you happy?
Not in the old pattern.
Not you, but the other person. Will it make that person then happy? Being punished for who knows how long and getting the consequences? Will they then feel justified and will they be happy with the outcome? You don't have to answer that, but that's just a question I'm just throwing out there.
Well, here's, well, then I would be forgiven. Because that's the pattern.
Oh God.
Yep.
Oh. There's a lot being ripped up from my past that is very similar to what you're speaking about.
Oh yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
Big time.
Me too.
I'm glad you're all getting joy out of it.
Oh no, there's no joy.
No.
Oh goodness, no.
No.
No. Just every other week I would see a psychotherapist to help me walk through it and try and understand it. And I see it differently now. And that was probably my best grounding now that I look back, even though there were times I was so frustrated with her. And she'd give me homework to do for the next 2 weeks type of stuff, right? And anyways, it's just looking now what she was helping me do, she was coaching me to live my life and show up in my life how I want to show up in relationships. And she was getting me to start now.
Yep.
And because the only one you can change is you.
Yep.
And focus on you. And
What?
when somebody else comes in,
unless you punish, right?
oh,
That
but you don't
changes.
need. So why punish? What's the purpose of that, right? So sometimes we don't need to know, and that is really hard. That is really, really hard because we want to know things. We want some sort of justification for stuff that happens to us or is said to us. And it's really hard to step into, I don't need to know. Incredibly hard.
Yeah.
But we continue to show up for us. We continue to work on on all our aspects, intellectual, educational, physical, you name it. It's all there. We work on those parts.
Yeah.
And when we start working on those parts, guess who shows up first? It's our kids.
Mhm.
Our kids show up and they want to be part of that.
Yep.
But we
Yeah.
just keep working on it. And before you know it, other people start showing up. Might not be the person we want so badly to show up,
Yep.
but we can't force them.
Nope. It's through the kids, you bet.
And the kids are not manipulated at any time, but they're welcome to join you at any time.
Mhm.
I was very fortunate to have Mona guide me through that.
Me too. And you. And all of you. Because God knows what I do for an hour and a half in the morning. And I don't even know.
Yeah, it's just a little reminder of how interdependent we all are, you know?
Mm.
The main thing that helped me get through it was, as it's been mentioned before, when we have chaos around us, showing up in chaos as we would in our greatness. And if we can do it in the little things,
Yeah.
and little things being minor things with other people, our kids, other situations, and then we go, yes, we did it. Then when bigger things come along, we can catch ourselves that we're not showing up in greatness, and we can switch right then and there into our greatness. In the middle of our chaos, in the old pattern, we can switch if we are self-aware enough that we notice it. And that is the coolest moment.
I think what I get from us being here, it is the little things. The little things that could be so obscure. But when other things are built on it, it's that thing that we don't see, that we're not aware of. We're so familiar with it that we don't even understand that it's kind of the culprit that we're so comfortable with. And little shifts make big waves.
Hmm.
And sometimes you need people around you to show you your shit, man.
Hmm.
And it's stuff that they can tolerate or put up with. But it might be that one thing that makes a difference. It could be the difference of a pattern interrupt. It's like, hey, I notice you never make your bed up in the morning. I notice your shoes are always mixed up. And it takes you 10, 15, 20 minutes to find the other shoe. I notice
You leave the toilet seat up all the time.
what is that?
You leave the toilet seat up all the time.
Yeah. And even if you live by yourself or with other people, what being here does is help notice, be aware. And I may
I
be
want
more. Hmm?
to go ahead. I'm sorry, Cinderella.
Oh, you're fine.
I mean, it's the difference between I notice and scolding.
Right. So it
That's
is
the
important the
difference.
environment of the people and how they respond to what they notice. But we notice here in love and patience.
Mm.
And I've learned to exercise that beyond these conversations
Mm.
and the conversations I have with myself.
Me too.
And it makes me more aware of the things that I do notice. And it makes me know that if I want to shift that little thing, sometimes there's an argument and a fight inside. So I saw a video about a week ago and it was saying like 5 habits to do. I don't remember all 5, but I remember one. And one was about keeping your toilet clean and being a toilet seat cleaner. It it's
Check.
it it keeps you humble without making you go humble. Um, One was keeping your shoes paired up neatly in order. It's not a huge thing, but it's a huge thing. When you go to put your shoes on, it keeps your mind from, it's one area where your mind doesn't have to be cluttered.
Mm.
But being here, I believe, helped me notice that video and to sit through these simple things. Like, I've been a housewife for, come on, really? I know how to keep a home. But I noticed that there's no one here but me. My shoes are all in one place at the door, but they could have been neater.
Mm.
So now I don't let more than 5 pair be at the door and the rest are in boxes. It makes a difference. And every time
Mm.
somebody comes in and they just kind of like I just put it back in order. It takes less than a second. And it helps them come into order and they're more orderly now.
Mhm.
So it's the little shifts and the delicateness of awareness and the compassion we can have for others when they come into our space to see that little order. And it helps me be more patient with myself, to be aware of me and how my comfort zone things that's okay for me, just me, when I invite others in to yin and yang with them, to see what they notice, and for me to see how I choose to be. No one gives me my order. I choose my order. No one structures me. I choose my structure. And in that we collaborate. So it's little shifts that are occurring. Because some things I'm not going to change. And I'm fine with that. There are some things about me that make me me, and I'm okay with those things being non-negotiable at the time and being acceptable to others if they want to be around me, not to be offensive in any kind of way, but to give myself the opportunity to process and be and feel and some things can correct you, but other things can convict you. And that's a deeper, more drastic kind of change, to have a conviction on something. Like when I say, you know what, I can't tolerate this. I can't support this. I can't allow this. I won't be silent about this anymore, because I can do better. I demand better. I can't even stomach it once I've been convicted. And then that becomes the new me. And it's still a choice.
One thing I noticed in my marriage was I could put the toilet seat down 99 out of 100 times, but it was the one time I was reminded me, or I didn't get a pat on the back for the 99 times I put it down.
Mm-hmm.
We are looking for flaws in each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Always. Yeah, and yep.
Yeah, that's because we were judged like that growing up.
Yep. So much
There's
of
something wrong with you. You're not complete until you learn things.
or follow the rules.
Yeah, until you have lessons that you learn.
And punished until you learn them.
Yeah, and that's a circle that's never complete.
Yep.
Because the assumption behind it is wrong.
Compliance. Oof. There's a
Oof.
word.
Yeah.
Compliance. There's a word. Oof.
That's my t-shirt. Compliant no more.
Good morning, Allison.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Allison.
Hi, Allison.
Allison,
Morning,
Hi.
everyone.
Morning, G.
So something else triggered me there when you said looking for fault. So I met someone and been spending time, and I just got to epitome where I started feeling aggravated. and I couldn't quite put my hand on it. And it's because they kept correcting me. I'm like, and I'm like, oh, okay. I realize, two people, but, and it was it was irritating me.
Mhm.
And I didn't really get the irritation because they were correct in what they were saying. It was reasonable and it was sensible and it was okay. But the correction started like really trying my patience. And I don't want to be around somebody that's constantly trying my patience. And I just got it right now in this conversation is this person is practicing parenting on me. When damn it, I'm a full adult. Let's get it together here. You can't raise me. Don't do that.
Goodness.
Yep. Thanks for that insight too.
It's a very good one, that.
Man,
just
that's
say-
big. That will be a conversation.
So what comes to me with that, Sindrel, is on what, so if I ask myself, like Jessie does, what's on the other side of that? For the other what's going on for the other person? And as you were talking, what came back to me again is how fear will motivate. How can I will give fuel to the need to be one up instead of being able to appear and stand next to and be
Equal.
respectful. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, that's
Mine
good.
Mine was I'm right.
Yeah.
Yep. I gotta validate and prove I'm right. And you can just imagine what childhood was like in that.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is they do admire your affection or input, who you are, but that they're going to tell you that they know better than you. So
Yeah.
so fascinating, right? It's like I just honor your awareness of that, Cinderella. To notice like for whatever the roles are, the identities are, to notice like, this is irritating me and I can't put a finger on it. Wow, that is self-awareness. Yeah. And that is because of what you practiced here and then practicing everywhere.
Oh, it's so good, guys. It allows me to have a compassionate conversation with the person without the irritation.
Because we all have our version. We all have our version. And that's what we love and hate about each other. Hate is not a good word with it, but drives us crazy. Frustrates the hell out of us.
And it kind of throws my geniusness off track. to
Mhm.
be spoken to in a like criticism correcting kind of way.
Mhm.
It makes me feel like that. It makes me feel wobbly too long, like wobble, 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 wobble. And I'm like ducking and dodging. I don't even have to get the wobbles anymore. I'm the one actually ducking and dodging the criticisms. And you cannot be, well, I cannot be in any creative zone when I'm responding to ducking and dodging.
Avoiding,
Yeah,
going right into
because
the avoiding pattern. Yep.
yeah, avoiding getting criticized.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, lay it on me. Give it to me. Let me have it. Give me all your criticisms, right? Which is like lining up all your shoes, which is like putting the toilet seat down. Get them all out. Tell me, what is it? Because whatever's at the surface is not the issue
Right.
for both of you, for both of us.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. So flipping that around. So you know this person is criticizing. You're ducking and dodging, blah, blah, blah. It's like, why is this person at me all the time like this?
Mhm.
And flip into their personality
Mhm.
and sit in that from their perspective. What could they possibly be doing but deflecting their own onnesses onto onto another person?
That's right. Wouldn't that be compassion? And wouldn't you then know what they need or could need? Beautiful. And you can give that to them, yeah?
Possibly if they'll
Mhm.
receive it. But
Mhm.
sometimes a person will run from the medicine that they need and they don't
Oh,
want it from the person who's
yes.
compassionately aware to give it to them.
Oh, I know, without a doubt. Now they're avoiding, not you.
All you can do is bring it to their attention.
Mhm.
And you almost have to own it yourself to bring it to the attention. I notice when you say such and such, it makes me feel like this personally, it makes me feel this way. Do you want me to feel that way, or can we talk about it another way?
Mhm.
Is there another way you can come at me? And then what is it? What is the real issue? What is it? What else is that about?
That's the important thing. What else is this about? What's really going on here? What's being projected into this? But as you say, Sindral, they have to be open for that, right?
Yeah, but you kind of can't like ask that question like you're psychoanalyzing them, right? Because
Correct, correct.
that's a big avoidance. Just put the toilet
Well,
down. Tell you.
that's well, it's right. It's resistance. That's our only job is to bring it into existence. So their choice is to see it or run away from it. And that's compassion.
I think it is.
Empathy, put yourself in their shoes, understand what it could be, how we see it. My experience of it is this, and watch the response. Embrace, do they embrace or do they avoid? And you just know you're not at the deep level if they're avoiding.
Mm.
And be ready for the Be ready for the shots or the fight or the punishment or whatever.
Yeah, because this is not, it's not their best them. So I'm getting a picture, if I can share the picture.
Please.
Whew. Going through the day's routine, I see a conflict of actions being ensued, but nothing is said yet. But yet, we're just going to let that stew. The routine of the day goes along more underway. Just bagging up the garbage to take it out of the way. Something falls unnoticed, not included in the bag. And oh my goodness, here's a reason to get in a really good jab. The jab is made of spewing and anger and ugliness too. And you just gotta wonder how it could come up so fast, big and new. A defense standing in the midst of an attack. And then the frame of the movie goes really slow as you see the defender lean back. The jab is almost there, fully developed, spearing to the heart and the head to throw you off your feet. And the frame freezes there, and you see it before it can meet. Step aside out the frame and look from another perspective too, to see all the ugliness coming out of the other. And just so sad that it spews. Before getting back in the frame, pull the other character out too. And just hold them by the hands. Come here. I see something coming out in you. I really want to understand. Is just coming out, or is there a plan? What is your intention to show me, to grow me, to help me know me so that I don't help create what's coming out of you? It really, really hurts. It's could almost kill my soul. But because of my compassion, I'm stepping aside with you in this moment to be bold. What are you feeling? It doesn't matter how big or bad it is. I'm telling you, I'm your friend and I love you. Just tell me I can take it. Whatever it is, what gives. And so embarrassed by the offsite, embarrassed by the pain, embarrassed by everything that spews out, seeing it's all a game and really lame. I cannot tell you my words because it has none. I cannot tell you my truths because I haven't seen it in a long time. But can we agree to drop the frame, to drop the blame just in this game and say it again another way where neither one of us has to feel shame? because of all that's transpired in just those moments and seconds fast. That whole frame that froze, it falls down like a glass. Feeling naked and embarrassed. Both are really true. Just for a moment, let me see you. And I see you being true. So tell me again about the garbage that didn't make the bag. Tell it to me in a way that won't have to make me feel sad. Just practice, just try it. Could you do it just one time? And don't do it so much for me. Do it for you so you can unwind. You missed a piece of garbage. Here, I'll pick it up off the floor. Can you open the bag up? Is there room for one more piece of garbage before you take it out the door? The imagination dreams differently than how that reality does ensue. The frame comes back and moves very quickly, and the garbage goes out too. Forget that I dropped that piece that came out the bag, but I'm out the door, it goes. But when I think about that garbage bag, there's always a choice to stop the frame and participate differently, deeper, and more. Stop the frame for the routine at any place you please and not participate in the scheme of things that keeps cutting us off at the knees. At every frame, there's a choice of how to be, how to stop, how to breathe, how to participate, how to take it, how to not take it. But you do have to pause to make that choice, to have something different and more. The title to that talk would be Just Stop It.
Say that again, Sindro.
The title to that talk would be Just Stop It.
Yes, you hit it so well. Thank you.
Yes.
You helped me see what I could do. And my head was running around what it should do. That's why I love these morning sessions. I thank each of you. Thank you for a wonderful morning. Thank you for all the support, all the help, all the genius insights, your gifts and your greatness from each and every one of you. Have a great day.
Thanks for a great day. Love and
Bye,
hugs.
everybody.
Goodbye.
Love and
Great
hugs.
day, everyone.
Have a great day.
Thanks.